Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is VK7WI, your Wireless Institute station, bringing you this morning's news broadcast on behalf of the VK7 division of the Wireless Institute of Australia, live on ATV and the other links from the TARC venue at Montrose Yacht Club. And this morning I'm speaking to a packed hall of anxious amateurs who are eager to learn about the doings of the Wireless Institute in our fair state. This morning's relays are brought to you by courtesy of the following amateurs. On the northwest coast we have a 40-metre relay on 7.130 MHz from Jeff, VK7WZ. Noel, VK7WN, is doing the honours on 2 metres. In the south, John, we think, VK7ZJG on 144.1 single sideband, and Joe, of course, at Sunny Thursday Street in Newtown is providing the 80-metre 3.570 MHz relay for you. It's Joe, VK7BJ. This morning's broadcast comes between the 2 days of TARC, and I think there's only one word for TARC, and that is success. TARC this year has exceeded all the expectations of the organisers. We ran out of name tags yesterday at 450 tags issued. So one would have to believe that 450 souls came through the door. A really good result, and the culmination of many months' anxious planning that is all the more acceptable because of the success. This morning I hope to bring you a item of news from both the north and northwest branches to briefly give you an indication of what's gone on with TARC so far, to play the federal tape and then close because we would anticipate a reasonably lengthy callback session. The operator this morning, of course, is Barry, VK7OS, supported by at least John, VK7JK, and Peter, VK7ZPK, just to ensure that it's not a truly wholly RS production. I think perhaps we'll deal with the Northwest News first. The Northwest News is basically to the effect that their next meeting will be at the Penguin High School this coming Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Now don't forget that this is an important meeting because afterwards you're going to be introduced into all the mysteries of slow scan TV by Tony, VK7 Alpha X-ray. And if the success of the UHF TV is anything to go by, Tony's experience with slow scan would tend to indicate that there is an almost equally interesting medium available. And that's Tony on the floor there now, creeping in with the VK7WI side. I'm not quite sure whether we are quite up to ABC standards here this morning, if Barry Fraser is listening in, but we're certainly doing our best. I think his job, though, at the ABC is fairly safe. On the northwest coast, the ATV people have, of course, some fair number of years now of experience, and they've brought that experience down here with them to TARC, and I think it's been one of the highlights of the TARC, the fact that we've got a complete amateur television transmitting station within the hall, and certainly the people that were here yesterday seem to indicate great interest in the operation of that apparatus. Today, between 1 and 2 p.m. approximately, Tony, VK7 Alpha X-ray, the guru of amateur TV, will be providing a lecturette on just how to get started on ATV and really how economically an ATV station can be put to air. So if you or your next door neighbours or the woman down the street or the woman over in the next street would like to come in and have a look at the ATV display, maybe we in the south here could sort something out and show that perhaps we're not as far behind the times as some people might think we are. As far as northern news is concerned, the news there is that the northern branch officers would like to see a good roll-up at their meeting on Friday night next. It's at the Australian Maritime College, that beautiful facility down on the Blue Tamer at Alma Vale. And of course the northern branch are still moving into the premises there and getting things set up for what we all hope will be a permanent headquarters for them. and they'd like to see you there at that meeting. Please support your institute by making sure that you attend. I'll now attempt to run just very quickly through what went on at TARC yesterday, prior to asking for the federal tape to be played, after which John, VK7JK, will relieve my vocal cords. Well, as you all know now, we did have a re-enactment yesterday of the Pop Medhurst 1901 experiments that went off extremely well. I was most interested personally to see and hear the spark transmitter in operation, bitterly disappointed that the promised media coverage didn't eventuate, and at this stage I'd also apologise to those people who were hoping to hear the spark transmitter relayed on 2 metres for the fact that the 2 metre relay wasn't possible. We were warned immediately prior to the broadcast on the spark gear that there was a real danger of damaging delicate equipment that was anywhere near the spark transmitter itself. The VOC people had found problems with losing pin diodes and so forth in gear when the thing was being tested, and quite frankly it just wasn't worth risking valuable equipment. However, there is a superlative ATV relay, I beg your pardon, an ATV recording of that event, and that will be available shortly to the branches for replay purposes if they so desire, and we think that will in time become a truly historic video document. The various talks and activities that were outlined in the QRM was published as the guide and aide memoir to the TARC have been largely followed. The computer-aided design of loaded dipole and vertical antennas, courtesy of Henry, was certainly very much appreciated as far as the display, and there was a talk by VK7AW, Andrew Boone, that was very, very illuminating to the people that took part in that. Peter, VK7ZPK, provided some information on amateur satellites, and the talk by Tony on amateur TV gear is of course rescheduled for the day between 1 and 2 o'clock. VK7ZAR provided some information on setting up a satellite station, and of course yours truly provided a background to the historical display that we have on here. All in all, a very interesting day yesterday, with I think an even better day today. If you haven't already been to TARC, then you certainly should try and get down today. If you came yesterday, then please try and come again today. We will be trying to maintain an interest all day long, and don't forget that there will be a monster junk sale, providing you bring your monster junks along, in the schedule of events for today. I'm just trying to very quickly look through here and see exactly when the monster junk sale is supposed to be. Oh, I see, it's done with much more couth and culture here. Equipment sale, 2 o'clock, when the children's activities will commence. I probably won't be able to go to the equipment sale then, because being just a boy at heart, I'll probably enjoy the children's activities more. So just to go through today's activities, the hall opened at 9 o'clock. We have had some excitement here, including burglar alarms and all sorts of things. It is amazing to think that despite all those, the broadcast still goes to air. What I'm looking forward to is, after the callback at 10 o'clock, is morning tea. I'm always ready for morning tea, whether it's in the afternoon, morning or early evening. The activities, as were explained for Saturday, will continue during the public session today, with a period for lunch at about 12 o'clock. Please don't forget the amateur TV demonstration between 1 and 2, and of course bring along all those wonderful bargains that you have at your disposal for the junk sale. On the subject of things for sale, I have for disposal personally, free of charge to an aspiring novice, a complete set of Wireless Institute Morse tapes that I don't want any filthy lucre for. I would be pleased to give them to someone that's trying to get either a novice or a full call. They do go right from the very basic Morse right through to 15 words a minute, and if I can learn more off them, anyone can. Without any further ado, I think we'll pass over now to the federal tape. And Peter has got his wonderful box of tricks here. Peter, if you could do whatever you need to do, I'll say thank you, and you'll know then that we need you on here. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the amateur airwaves. This is VK7JK for VK7WI, who is next on the list to bring you news of the day. I can tell you it was something of a relief to your QRM editor, a couple of hundred extra copies of the convention edition. We found the demand was such that even having posted out copies to all known amateurs and some unknown ones in the state, requests were coming in thick and fast at the TARC yesterday. What a great boost it was for your editor that he might be in a position to state there's a shortage of QRMs, or sorry, none left, or something like that. Back numbers were also doing well, so once TARC is over, it seems unlikely statewide that there will be any amateur who hasn't finally achieved a complete set of the latest series of QRM. At least that was one more real advantage of coming to TARC. Strangely enough, the question most asked was, why QRM? The only reply the editor could give was one of tradition. But on the lines of Rick Patterson's question and answer programme, perhaps someone more versed in the history of the situation could give a more enlightened answer to us. A piece of information on QRM concerning its original meaning might be helpful to you from this little story. During the TARC, HF band transmissions have been taking place in a marquee in the caravan outside the yacht club. During the night, the system was that one operator opted while another slept. All went well with this situation until Ray, VK7 Victor Victor, was on the sleep side of the rotor. Then the QRM from Ray's snoring was such a level that it made operation even more excruciating. During the dinner last night, bottles of beer were being drawn in large numbers. So we wonder how many amateurs in this area are listening to this broadcast from the warmth and comfort of their beds. We shall hope to have at least a few honest replies during the callback. The studio here lived up to its reputation of being a pre-broadcast panic, up to 3 minutes and 17 seconds before the broadcast. Even though the venue is at the TARC Centre, it didn't seem to make much difference. Now it's strangely quiet this morning after the seething masses of the day before. How will your editor cope with the return to the more normal copy work with the monthly QRM? He hopes that the exploits, the successes and the failures of the TARC will provide him and you with comments, letters, articles and cartoons for months to come. Though, as usual, he'll be only too delighted to receive copy from you in any form. Don't hesitate. Let us have your views while they're fresh in your mind. And that's all from VK7JK, so we'll now return to VK7RS, Barry, for VK7WI and the rest of the broadcast.
And thank you, John. Well, in the period during which I was away from the microphone, I've had a 600 ohm connection with the World Health Organisation in Geneva. They've apparently had some reports arising out of yesterday's TARC and this morning's activities to the effect that there has been proved to be now a definite relationship between RF energy, and there was no doubt there was a lot of that circulating in this room yesterday, and a disease that manifests itself very much like the common hangover. And as I've been able to assure them that